Humankind has long sought to decipher the mysteries behind holy texts, those revered scriptures that have shaped religions, ethics, and civilizations. These texts, from the Bible to the Vedas, are not only repositories of spiritual guidance, but also cultural archives laden with symbolism, myth, and layered allegory. One provocative hypothesis invites us to reconsider these ancient writings under a radically new light. Could these sacred narratives actually be allegories for an alien hybrid theory? In other words, is it possible that what we have traditionally interpreted as divine intervention or mystical events are, in fact, accounts of extraterrestrial encounters and hybridization between alien beings and humans? This idea, which falls outside mainstream ecclesiastical and academic consensus, challenges our assumptions about the origins of life, intelligence, and even divinity. By blending speculative inquiry with careful exegesis, we explore how these texts might encode hidden historical events or otherworldly interventions. This investigation goes beyond literal readings, inviting a deeper reflection on symbolism, cultural memory, and the creative capacity of human thought. Whether one views these narratives as allegorical metaphors, encoded data, or vivid expressions of spiritual yearning, they demand that we look at our origins and our cosmos from a refreshed perspective. The historical landscape of alien hybrid theory, tracing the origins of a radical hypothesis. The alien hybrid theory finds its modern roots in the mid-20th century, stirred by the rise of science fiction and a growing fascination with the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Prominent figures such as Erich von Däniken and Zecharia Sitchin popularized interpretations suggesting that ancient gods and divine beings may have been, in reality, advanced aliens. According to this view, these beings visited Earth in prehistoric times, leaving behind subtle but no less profound traces of their influence on human society. Scholars traditionally interpret biblical narratives and mythological accounts as allegories that express human aspirations, fears, and moral dilemmas. Yet, alien hybrid theorists argue that these texts are also records of contact between early humans and beings from beyond our planet. They propose that the motifs of divine descent, miraculous births, and supernatural transformations could be reimagined as evidence of an interspecies experiment or an intentional genetic upgrade, a merger of earthly biology with cosmic intelligence. A confluence of myth, metaphor, and modern science, the alien hybrid theory does not stand alone but rather exists at the intersection of mythological scholarship, ufology, and speculative science. Advancements in astrophysics, astrobiology, and even genetic research have lent credibility to the possibility that life beyond Earth might exist, and, perhaps, might have even interacted with terrestrial life in the remote past. This confluence of disciplines creates fertile ground for reinterpreting ancient texts. What if the symbols and narratives found in the Bible, the Book of Enoch, and the Hindu epics are less about divine mystery and more about a cosmic intelligence that laid the foundation for humanity? By examining these texts through the lens of extraterrestrial intervention, proponents of the alien hybrid theory invite us to question not only the nature of divinity, but also the origins of human writing, creativity, ingenuity, and spiritual experience. The alien hybrid theory explored defining the theory at its core. The alien hybrid theory postulates that advanced extraterrestrial beings visited Earth in ancient times and, through direct or indirect interaction, left a lasting imprint on human evolution both biologically and culturally. The theory can be broken down into several key components. Extraterrestrial intervention. Advanced alien entities are credited with visiting Earth and influencing the development of human civilization. Such interactions could range from imparting knowledge and technology to engaging in genetic experiments. Hybridization. The theory suggests that human evolution may have been accelerated or altered through the interbreeding of extraterrestrial beings with early humans, resulting in hybrids with enhanced abilities or BHE. Intellect. Encoded allegory. Prominent religious and mythological narratives might be allegorical representations of these encounters. Symbolic language, dramatic imagery, and mythic motifs are thought to conceal literal descriptions of alien contact and genetic manipulation. The promise and peril of interpretation. While this theory offers a tantalizing alternative to conventional histories of human origin, it also carries with it risks. It challenges long-standing religious beliefs, may fuel pseudoscientific ideas, and could lead to a misinterpretation of symbolic literature. Most importantly, it forces us to reconsider the nature of historical truth in a world where myth and scholarship often intersect in unpredictable ways. Supporters argue that the narrative complexity of ancient texts is such that a single, literal interpretation might miss deeper layers of meaning. Instead of dismissing these allegories as mere myth, they suggest that a careful, open-minded reading might reveal hidden cosmic encounters buried in metaphor and symbol. Biblical narratives as celestial records, Genesis and the enigma of the Nephilim. One of the most frequently cited references in the alien hybrid theory is the account found in Genesis 6:1-4. This passage describes the sons of God who descended to earth, intermingled with human women, and produced offspring known as the Nephilim, a race often depicted as giants or beings of great strength and stature. Traditional view. Conventional exegesis views these sons of God as fallen angels or divine beings who transgressed heavenly boundaries. Within Jewish and Christian thought, the narrative is seen as a cautionary tale about the corruption of the divine order. Alien hybrid interpretation. In contrast, theorists who support the alien hybrid hypothesis suggest that these sons of God might have been extraterrestrial visitors with advanced knowledge and technology. Their union with humans, in this view, was not merely a rebellious act, but rather an experiment, whether deliberate or accidental, that resulted in offspring possessing a blend of human and otherworldly attributes. The resulting Nephilim, then, could be construed as a genetically enhanced race whose attributes set them apart from ordinary humans. How might these descriptions align with contemporary accounts of hybridization or genetic engineering? Proponents draw parallels between this ancient narrative and modern scientific experiments in genetic modification, suggesting that the story of the Nephilim is an early metaphor for engineered evolution. They pose provocative questions. Were these giants meant to serve as intermediaries between human and cosmic intelligences? Did they carry a genetic blueprint designed to unlock latent human potential? Ezekiel's vision? A celestial encounter on wheels? Another compelling candidate for extraterrestrial reinterpretation is found in the book of Ezekiel. In Ezekiel 1, the prophet recounts an awe-inspiring vision of a celestial chariot, a complex, awe-inducing structure described as having wheels within wheels and accompanied by luminous, living creatures. Traditional interpretation. In traditional religious scholarship, Ezekiel's vision is typically interpreted as an ecstatic religious experience, an intimate encounter with the divine. The chariot, often referred to as the Merkabah, is seen as a symbol of God's majestic and mysterious presence. Alien hybrid interpretation. For those who advocate the alien hybrid theory, the description in Ezekiel 1 might suggest something altogether more concrete: the sighting of an advanced extraterrestrial spacecraft. The intricate detail, wheels within wheels, interlocking mechanisms, and radiant effulgence could be seen as a portrayal of technology far beyond ancient capabilities. From this perspective, Ezekiel's awe and trepidation might be interpreted as a human reaction to an encounter with machinery and technology that seemed miraculous, yet was rooted in extraterrestrial science. This reading raises further questions. If Ezekiel's account describes a real encounter with alien technology, what was the purpose of such a visit? Was it an isolated incident, or part of a broader pattern of interstellar contact that established a hidden history of human development? The Book of Enoch and the legend of the Watchers, closely related to the Genesis narrative, is the apocryphal Book of Enoch. This ancient Jewish text elaborates on the story of the Nephilim by focusing on the Watchers, celestial beings tasked with monitoring humanity who ultimately chose to descend to earth and share forbidden knowledge. Traditional interpretation. Within the canon of Jewish mysticism and ancient apocalyptic literature, the Watchers are often depicted as fallen angels whose actions led to chaos and corruption on earth. Their narrative is used to explain the origins of evil and the radical divergence from divine intention. Alien hybrid interpretation. For alien hybrid theorists, however, the Watchers might be reinterpreted as emissaries from an alien civilization. Their descent could symbolize an intentional intervention in human evolution, one that involved the transfer of advanced technology or even genetic material. In this light, the Watchers are not merely fallen angels, but rather ambassadors of a cosmic enterprise. Their illicit unions with human women being the mechanism by which alien genetic codes were woven into the déballé fabric of human DNA. Beyond literally recounting contact with the extraterrestrial, the narrative of the Watchers may carry a symbolic import warning of the dangers of unchecked power and the disintegration of natural order when human evolution is tampered with by forces beyond earthly jurisdiction. Global narratives and ancient texts beyond the Bible, the Vimanas of Hindu scriptures, the concept of divine vehicles, or Vimanas, emerges not only as a literary motif in the Bible, but also as a prominent feature in ancient Hindu texts, notably the Vedas and the Mahabharata. These scriptures describe Vimanas as majestic flying chariots used by deities' machines capable of remarkable feats, sometimes with incredible propulsion and maneuverability. Historical context and traditional interpretation. Traditionally, Vimanas are interpreted as the mythical conveyances of gods, symbols of divine mobility and otherworldly power. They often appear in stories that emphasize the magical and mysterious aspects of the divine realm. Alien hybrid interpretation. But what if these descriptions are not mere flight of fancy myth? Some theorists contend that the Vimanas represent early human encounters with advanced technology vehicles that were misunderstood in their time. In this context, the gods of Hindu myth may well have been extraterrestrial visitors, using their advanced crafts as a means of transport and as a tool of intervention on Earth. Such reinterpretations invite new questions about the nature of divine power. Could the descriptions of Vimanas, replete with precise technical details, encode knowledge of propulsion systems and energy fields that modern engineers are only beginning to understand? And, more provocatively, were these aerial crafts part of a larger plan for guiding human development, a plan that might have included selective genetic hybridization? Parallels in Islamic and Buddhist traditions beyond the well-known Judeo-Christian narratives and Hindu epics, similar motifs appear in Islamic and Buddhist texts. Some Islamic traditions describe the miraculous journeys of prophets' trips that bear a resemblance to modern accounts of unidentified flying objects and close encounters. Similarly, Buddhist legends occasionally recount the descent of celestial beings or the appearance of radiant skies, which some argue might be interpreted as evidence of extraterrestrial contact. Although these accounts are enveloped in layers of metaphor and symbolism, they share common themes: divine intervention, superior knowledge, and encounters with beings whose abilities far surpass ordinary human experience. Whether such narratives refer to literal events or serve as allegories for inner transformation remains a point of passionate debate, but opens yet another window into how humanity might have encoded cosmic knowledge. Within sacred literature, symbolism, archetypes, and the psychology of the alien encounter the role of allegory in sacred texts. At the heart of many religious narratives is the use of allegory, a method by which profound philosophical, moral lives and existential truths are conveyed through metaphorical storytelling. The alien hybrid theory leverages this very principle. If ancient people used allegory to communicate complex, transformative ideas, then perhaps the language of gods, angels, and miracles was equally capable of encoding descriptions of extraterrestrial encounters. For instance, vivid depictions of divine light, strange winged creatures, And inexplicable phenomena in holy books could be interpreted not as mere poetic devices, but as attempts to articulate experiences that defied the conceptual frameworks of early communities. This line of thinking posits that the extraordinary linguistic and symbolic systems found in these texts may have served dual purposes. They instructed followers on moral and spiritual laws while also hinting at hidden histories of cosmic contact. Jungian archetypes and the collective unconscious. Carl Jung, the influential psychologist, argued that mythological symbols and religious narratives are manifestations of archetypes, universal symbols, that reside in the collective unconscious. From this perspective, the idea of alien beings or otherworldly entities may represent a modern adaptation of these timeless archetypes. They are a means by which humanity processes the unknown, the transcendental, and the transformative potential of the cosmos. The image of the other in alien hybrid theory, be it the fallen angel, the celestial charioteer, or the mysterious visitor from the stars, could be viewed as a symbol for the ultimate other within the human psyche. It represents our eternal quest for knowledge beyond the mundane, the yearning to break free from the constraints of earthly existence and connect with something larger, more cosmic. This archetypal perspective does not necessarily validate the literal existence of aliens, but does affirm the power of symbolic narratives that shape our understanding of both self and universe. The psychological implications of extraterrestrial allegories. If sacred texts are read as allegories for alien contact, they simultaneously open up psychological realms that blend existential curiosity with cosmic hope, and with caution. Such interpretations might suggest that humanity's myths of divine transformation were early attempts to comprehend a reality in which the universe was not only inhabited but actively involved in our developmental journey. They hint that the chemical and genetic blueprints embedded in us might carry vestiges of contacts with Earth's cosmic neighbors, allowing for an infusion of otherworldly insight into our collective being. The interplay between the human psyche and narratives of extraterrestrial intervention offers a fertile ground for understanding why such themes continue to resonate in modern popular culture. They speak to an intrinsic desire to transcend limitations and to explore the boundary between the known and the ineffable unknown. Skepticism, academic critique, and the limits of interpretation. The mainstream viewpoint. It is essential to note that the alien hybrid theory remains a fringe interpretation, not embraced by mainstream theological or historical scholarship. Academic exegesis tends to rely on contextual, linguistic, and historical analyses that explain biblical and mythological narratives as products of their cultural environments. From this perspective, biblical stories are composite reflections of moral lessons, collective trauma, social order, and the struggles to understand natural phenomena without the benefits of modern scientific knowledge. Historians, archaeologists, and theologians assert that such sacred texts are best understood within the cultural and symbolic frameworks of their times. They emphasize that to read alien hybrid theories into these narratives is to impose modern, technology-driven concerns onto ancient communities for whom allegory was a natural mode of communication. These scholars warn against conflating metaphor with evidence, noting that while the ancient texts are indeed rich in symbolic meaning, there is scant and often misinterpreted archaeological corroboration for the literal presence of extraterrestrial beings in antiquity. The dangers and allure of fringe theories. While the idea of alien intervention may captivate the imagination, it also carries with it potential pitfalls. The allure of fringe theories like alien hybridism can lead to the dismissal of centuries of nuanced scholarship, reduce the complex interplay of mythology and human experience to simplistic visited Earth narratives, and even fuel modern conspiracy theories that undermine rigorous academic inquiry. Moreover, such interpretations can blur the critical distinction between metaphor and historical fact, potentially fostering a culture of incredulity in both science and religion. Despite these dangers, the very act of questioning and reinterpreting old texts can open pathways to new insights. By entertaining the possibility that ancient narratives incorporated hidden layers of meaning, whether they reference real cosmic events, serve as symbolic representations of human aspirations, or perhaps both, we remind ourselves that the human capacity for wonder remains boundless. Intriguingly, the tension between traditional exegesis and radical reinterpretation highlights the dynamic nature of cultural memory and the role of storytelling as a living, continually evolving art form. Broader implications: rethinking human origins and cosmic destiny, spiritual and existential repercussions if one entertains the possibility that sacred texts are allegories for extraterrestrial intervention, and quote, hybridization? The implications extend far beyond a simple reinterpretation of ancient myth. Such a viewpoint compels us to reconsider the very nature of human origins and the spiritual dimensions that undergird our existence. It raises profound questions. What does it really mean to be human if our essence is, in part, the product of intentional cosmic experimentation? Does the possibility of an alien influence dilute, or, conversely, enrich the notion of divinity as understood by humankind? According to this perspective, divine attributes traditionally ascribed to gods, angels, or other supernatural figures may be recontextualized as markers of superior cosmic intelligence. Essentially, what ancient people interpreted as miracles, divine intervention, or supernatural rulership might be elements of an elaborate interaction between two very different species. The profound mysteries of creation, evolution, and consciousness may thus be revisited in a light that is both scientifically provocative and metaphysically stirring. Ethical, scientific, and cultural consequences: if future research were to lend credence to aspects of the alien hybrid theory, humanity would face a profound ethical and existential crossroads. The prospect of revising our origin story would not be merely an academic exercise. It would challenge our deepest held beliefs about our purpose, our responsibility toward one another, and our place in the cosmos. How might international societies reconcile a shared identity that includes extraterrestrial heritage? Could these ideas serve as a bridge between disparate cultures by offering a unifying narrative of cosmic origin, or would they further deepen the chasms that separate us? On a scientific front, research into ancient genetics, archaeological evidence, and historical symbolism might be renewed with fresh vigor. Explorations into the structure of human DNA, advanced deciphering of ancient texts, and new interpretations of archaeological findings could prove critical in examining the hypothesis that our evolution was influenced by extraterrestrial intervention. While mainstream science remains yet to confirm such links, the hypothesis provides an expansive canvas on which interdisciplinary dialogue can be built, a dialogue that spans the humanities, the natural sciences, and the speculative domains of thought. Modern culture and the legacy of cosmic wonder in popular culture, the themes of extraterrestrial contact and alien hybridization, have long served as a catalyst for creative expression. From blockbuster films to best-selling novels, the cosmic narrative of otherworldly intervention continues to captivate our collective imagination. These modern retellings, whether in science fiction or alternative mythology, echo the held human desire to belong to a larger, mysterious universe. By drawing parallels between these artistic interpretations and ancient sacred texts, one sees how enduring narratives can evolve, absorbing new meanings while retaining their fundamental capacity to, quote, inspire and provoke thought. In a world where rapid technological advances and discoveries in space exploration continually reshape our understanding of the universe, the idea that our ancestors might have been touched by forces from beyond Earth resonates deeply. It serves as both a celebration of human curiosity and the reminder that our place in the cosmos could be far more extraordinary than previously imagined. Conclusion. Embrace an inquiry amid unanswered questions. The theory that Bibles and other holy books might function as allegories for alien hybrid theory is, at its core, an invitation to re-examine the narratives that have long informed our understanding of humanity. While mainstream theology and academic scholarship remain cautious, if not outright skeptical of such interpretations, The very act of questioning entrenched narratives is a testament to the ongoing evolution of human thought. As we sift through myth, symbolism, and historical context, we must consider that the layered allegories embedded in sacred texts might be designed to operate on multiple levels. They could be simultaneously spiritual guidance, moral instruction, and perhaps coded accounts of encounters with otherworldly intelligences. Whether these ancient texts conceal a record of extraterrestrial influence or serve solely as metaphors for the human journey into the unknown, they compel us to reconsider what it means to be human and our cellular connection to the cosmos. In embracing both skepticism and wonder, we recognize that the stories of our ancestors are not static relics of an archaic past, but dynamic narratives that continue to inform modern debates about science, spirituality, and the eternal search for any meaning. The dialogue between conventional interpretations and alternative theories, such as the alien hybrid hypothesis, enriches our understanding even if only by deepening the questions we have yet to answer. Ultimately, this speculative yet thought-provoking viewpoint reminds us that the human spirit is inherently curious, unafraid to probe mysteries and reinvent the legends that give our lives shape and meaning. Whether or not one ultimately accepts the alien hybrid theory, its exploration exemplifies the transformative power of interdisciplinary inquiry, a quest that weaves together threads of science, mythology, art, and spirituality into the grand tapestry of human existence. In reflecting on these ideas, one cannot help but be struck by the enduring allure of the unknown. The narratives handed down through millennia, rich with symbolism, allegory, and layered meaning, invite us to peer behind the veil of conventional wisdom and to entertain the possibility that our story might be far more expansive than previously imagined. As modern-day explorers continue to decipher the cosmic messages encoded in our shared cultural heritage, the boundaries between myth and reality, allegory and fact, remain as fluid and fascinating as ever. Thus, the debate endures. Are our holy books simply poetic expressions of a human desire to understand the divine, or do they contain coded reminders of an epoch when visitors from the stars touched our lives, and, quote, irrevocably altered our course? In the end, the journey to unravel these mysteries might be as significant as any destination, a journey that challenges us to reconsider what it means to be both human and universal in our reach.